I'm gonna go ahead and record this. What we're gonna do today is I'm gonna have everybody, we'll do the one that we talked about on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna have everybody open up their My Math Lab, and we're gonna do one question from My Math Lab, and I can see as the answers come in, because I want you to have that practice of shading, graphing, shading, finding the corner points, and then walking through every single part live, so that I can answer questions as you're walking through it. So we'll do that, maybe a couple times. Maybe we'll get 2 done today, once we go over some of the word problems. So does anyone else, Anwar, Dylan, Ava, Sophia, do you guys have any thoughts on, what you would like to see more of? Are you like starting to get it for this section? And Bo, I saw your comment.
I think breakout rooms were a good idea.
Okay.
That was
okay, that was in the plan today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. And Dylan says I'm starting to get it. And that's why I have the unlimited access to it, because it really does just take practice. And then, figuring out, okay, how did I get this one wrong? Or what am I doing wrong? Do I have my X's and Y's in the right spot? That kind of thing. So we'll just keep right on working. And please, please, please stop me if I am going too fast, or if I, put something out there that you're like, oh, I didn't get that, and you want to know how did I get that, please stop me, because if I don't hear from you, I'm assuming you guys are following along. And so you have to communicate with me, especially with this Zoom. I can't see your faces. In face-to-face class, I can see when someone goes pale and their eyes get watery. I can tell when they're not getting it. But in Zoom, when I'm teaching, I don't see anybody. I don't even see the chat. All I see is what I'm working on. So it makes it a little more difficult. So I definitely want you guys to get it and not feel like, you're lost, or I'm going too fast, or anything like that. So I'm trying really hard to make sure that I get everybody. I feel like I've missed some people. So with attendance, if you ever, because your attendance does matter, if you are marked absent and you were there, just shoot me an email and say, hey, I definitely was there. This is what we went over. Just, so that I know what was going on. That helps me too. Okay, Lisa. Okay, so this week is our midterm. So and let's see, no, you're fine, Tiva. That's fine. So this week is midterm. So we are in week 8. We're finishing week 8. So we have 8 more weeks to go. And so it's a full push until Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving, we will meet that week. We meet Tuesday. Obviously, Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we'll only have one day during that Thanksgiving week that we'll meet. And then we come back for a week. Let me double check. I think it's a week, and then it's finals. So once we hit Thanksgiving, it's done. Basically, it's done. So, okay, so Thanksgiving is November 23rd through the 26th. So in a month, basically, a month and a week. And then we have the week of the 27th, the week of the 4th, and then the next week is finals. So we come back from Thanksgiving, we have 2 weeks, and then finals. So this is definitely the time of the semester where, you're not excited about school anymore. Life has thrown some curveballs. Work is starting to, gear up because of the holiday seasons. And so it makes it, so this is where your grit is going to come in. And when I say the term grit, what I mean is when things get tough, do you give up or do you persevere? That's what grit is. So grit is what is going to make the difference between being successful and having to drop. So I don't want to lose anybody. I really, really don't. So I want to make sure that you are getting everything that you need to be able to be successful in this class. And remember, successful does not mean a D. D grades do not transfer. You have to have a C or higher for it to transfer. So make sure that you are paying attention to your grades now. Start now paying attention to your grades. Every homework grade and quiz grade should be 80% or higher. If it's not, then we need to fix, there's something that you're doing wrong, and we need to make sure that you have all your homework and test grades as high as possible. The reasoning for that is because if they're, 80 and above, that means you're on a good track of understanding the material. If you understand the material, then obviously you're going to do well on the test. So I just uploaded I'm calling it a subtest. I just uploaded the subtest for chapter 5. It will open Sunday morning at 6 a.m. and you have 1 week to get it done. Okay, there's only 4 questions, so please, please, please do not put this off. As soon as it opens, you should get it done. And there's still other assignments due. So this is on top of your other assignments. And it is a test grade, which is great, because I'm hoping that doing it on paper like this, that you will do really, really, really well on it. And it's very focused. It's section 4.1 and the 3 sections from chapter 5. So it's very specific. And so if you really focus on those 4 sections and really have an understanding, then you're going to do really well and you'll have a great test grade. So the tests are, obviously very important. And so I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to get a really good grade on this test. And then the actual test 2 is coming. It's going to be due November 2nd. So that's not this Monday, but the next Monday. And so actually that's the actual test is going to be Thursday, November 2nd. I don't know why I have Monday, November 2nd. Well, that's dumb. So Thursday, November 2nd, and we'll do the same. Take it. You'll have your cameras on, and then you'll upload your work, and then you can go on that day. Okay. Any questions so far? Make sure I get everybody. All right, that was me, I think, just okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on the OneNote. So this is OneNote day 1. Okay, so Ava, I'm reading your chat about improper fractions for corner points, like on the problem you gave us. Does it still work the same, or should we not have a improper fraction? Okay, so I was going to address that today because there is going to be a question in your My Math Lab, and we'll do this. This will be one of them that we'll do today. You'll go to your My Math Lab and do it. And in My Math Lab, if you have intercepts that are not whole numbers, you can't graph it. We can graph on paper when we have decimals or fractions. In My Math Lab, that won't work. And so there's a very specific way that I show how to do it. And I already sent out a video on it, and it should be in your announcements. And I think it's called What Happens When Intercepts Don't Fit, or when your values don't fit on the graph. And it's the same concept. Okay. All right. So here's the one that so I will get to that one, Ava. So here's the one that we started to work on Tuesday. And I said, okay, I want you to go home, or most of you are already home. I want you to go ahead and see how far you can get on it. And so remember, we pulled this one. This one's a challenge because we're pulling a lot of information out, and there's A's and B's and M's and N's, and we don't even know what they are. So this is we have 2 drugs with 2 ingredients in the drug. All right, so our two drugs are M and N, and the two ingredients are A and B. All right, so M has 10 grams or 10 units of A and 8 units of B. Substance N has 2 units of A and 4 units of B. We have a maximum of at least 84. So I can see I made a mistake already right here. Okay, I was thinking at most. So at least, so this term right here means that's the lowest amount that I want. So this is going to be, and then a greater than or equal to 120 because of the at least. Okay. So make sure that you're paying attention to those because this is going to determine how you graph it. All right, so if you graphed it with less than, I apologize, that's on me. I just noticed that. Okay, and then the objective. So this is the objective. Most of the time we have max, like max profit, max revenue, minimize the cost. But with this one, our objective is we don't want drug D. We want to minimize drug D. So that's how you know what the objective is they'll use the term maximize or minimize. Okay, so drug D is our objective, and we only want 3 units of M and 1 unit of N. So that's where I get the 3x plus Y. And remember, we are minimizing. We're getting the minimum. So we want the lowest value, not the highest. We want the lowest value. Okay. All right. So we're going to have 2 different colors here. Oh, that one. And then I have my my restrictions into only the first quadrant. So here's my X and my Y greater than or equal to 0. And again, the reason why I do this when you do this on paper is it's a reminder that when you go to graph it in my math lab, that you don't forget those because that's what's going to limit the shading in the first quadrant. Okay. All right. So you guys have already done this. So you're going to give me answers, right? So our green one, we have intercepts. What's our x-intercept? Or our y, excuse me, our y-intercept? Anybody? Or I'll call names.
I got
30?
042.
42, yes. Yeah, 42. And the reason why it's 42 is because I did 2y equals 84, divide both sides by 84, so I get 42. Okay. And then my x-intercept, what'd you get for the x-intercept?
Was it 8.4?
Perfect. Thank you for talking to me. You have no idea how happy that makes me. All right, and then the orange one, what is our y-intercept?
30.
Perfect. Okay, and then our x-intercept?
15.
15.
15, great. Okay, so I always get my intercepts first, and the only reason I do that is so that I can see how to lay out my numbers. So my y-intercept is going to be a high of 42. So I could do these by, by tens. And again, I want to spread them out. So this is how I do it. I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 10 is 60, 6 times 5 is 30, so that's not going to be enough. So I'm going to go by 10. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then my x's, my highest is 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so I can go by 2s. And don't get caught up too much on, you know, how to set up the side numbers. Those are just your, excuse me, your own preference. The only thing that I would caution on is make sure you spread it out enough. If you have too tight of a graph, then it gets confusing and you may miss, you know, something that you need to have. Okay, so our green one, we have 42. So this is 40, 45. So it's about right there. And 8.4, which is real close to 8. And then my line is about here. And you guys are going to pretend that this thing is crossing. I should be able to pick it up and move it. I've never been able to pick it up and move it though. Let's see if I can get it. Use the, oh man, okay. It's not going to let me move it. You're going to pretend with me. This is crossing at 42. That's what this point is. Okay. And then to shade, 0 is greater than or equal to 84. This is a false statement, which means I'm going to shade up here. So if you did this with the less than or equal to sign, then you'll see that it's going to be different. If it was the less than inequality, then I would have shaded below it. But because I misread that on Tuesday, it's above it. Okay. All right. So everyone good with that one? Okay. And then, so that's that pause that I'm trying to give you. So if I'm not giving you enough time to respond, please just interrupt me. I'm totally okay with that. All right, so my orange one, I have 30 and 15. Oh, don't like that one. I haven't quite figured out how to. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and then again, 0 is greater than or equal to 120. This is also a false statement. So I'm going to shade above here. So you can see that it is unbounded, right? You have corner points at, and this, again, this is why I use my color at the y-intercept of green, so 0, 42, the x-intercept of orange, so 15, 0, okay, and then where they cross, right there. Okay, so I have to do my whatever you call it, elimination. There it is. I have to do my elimination. So I have 10x plus 2y equals 84. And again, the inequality doesn't matter anymore because I already used it. It's used for shading. Okay. All right. Someone tell me which one they want to get rid of. X or Y?
I did Y.
Okay. X, I could have gotten rid of X, but it's a big number, right? I'd have to multiply the green one by 8 and the orange one by 10. So getting rid of Y, I only have to do one of them, right? I don't have to do both. So I have negative 20x minus 4y equals a negative 168. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So 8 and negative 20 is a negative 12x. The y's go away. 168 and 120 is a negative 48. So divide both by negative 12. And I get x equals 4. So again, you want to look. So here's my 4, my graph, and that's because my lines are off the intercepts. So that's why it's off a little bit, but it is close. So I'm good. And again, that's a great reason why you don't use your graph to get your elimination. And then once I get my x, now I got to find my y. So 10 times 4 plus 2y equals 84. And it doesn't matter which one I plug it into, just plug into either of the originals. So 40 plus 2y equals 84. So 2y equals 44. Yeah, so y equals 11. And again, oh boy, that's way off. What did I do wrong?
It should have been a 54. The
Where do you
84.
get 54? So 10 times
Wait, it was 10
4.
times. Oh, I got 3. Wait. For my X value, I got 3.
You got 3 on the X.
So,
So 168
wait.
minus 120. Did I do
okay,
that
wait.
one wrong?
wait.
No, that is 48. And then 48 divided by 12. Oops. Is 4. Okay, so X is 4. And it could just be because my lines are not crossing exactly on the points. And it also could be, so this is something to be aware of. It could also be a fact that on my Ys, I'm going by 10s. On my X's, I'm going by 2s. So it could
Manchester?
be that also. Just that there's a difference. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question because
Yeah,
for
go
me
ahead.
I put in the X. I got 4 as well for X equals 4. But I put it in for 8x plus 4y.
Yeah,
And I
and
got
it doesn't
y
matter
equals
which one. Yeah,
Is it?
22 it is. I just saw 40. I was saying 44 divided by 2 is 11.
Okay.
It's been a long week. I apologize. It's 22. So then it does fit, right? The graph does work.
Yeah. But
Okay, so here we go. And Sophia, it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. You can plug
Okay.
into either one. Yeah. All right. So everyone good? Everyone completely clear as mud now? Okay. So there are our corner points
I
and
have
it
one
is
quick question.
unbounded. Yeah, go ahead.
So do you just plug in 1 point to double check?
Well, you have to have an X and a Y, right? Because every point is the address, if you will, is the ordered pair XY. So that's why when you get one of the variables, you have to plug it back into one of the original equations to get the other variable.
But you just plug, it can be any of the X or and Y.
Well,
all the
yeah, it
points you
depends
got.
on what you get. Like this one, I got X is 4, so I plug it into where the X is. I wouldn't plug it into where the Y is. I'd only plug it into
Yeah.
the variable that it represents. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And now we test. Remember, we're looking for the minimum. So you always have to double check what you're looking for. Sometimes it's minimum and maximum. Sometimes it's just maximum. Sometimes it's just minimum. If this one, if they ask for the minimum and the maximum, because this is unbounded, there is no maximum, right? It's going to go on and on and on forever. So it's going to continue to build. So when it's unbounded, you can only have the minimum and no maximum when it's shaded going this way. If it was shaded going this way, the opposite direction, and there was no first quadrant restrictions, depends on where you're shading. Most of the time, you're shading up here and going this way. So there's no maximum. All right, so here we go. So we go 3 times 0 plus 42 is 42. 3 times 15 plus 0 is 45. And 3 times 4 plus 22. So 12 plus 22 is 36. So this is my minimum. Yes, so the graph is unbounded. Okay, so we found our minimum. So here's what the minimum means. For me to get the lowest or the minimum amount of drug D, so remember what the questions are. We want a minimum daily requirement. We want to minimize the intake of drug D. How many units of the undesirable drug will be in this mixture? So the number of units is you have 4 units of M and 22 units of N to have your minimum drug amount of 36 units. That's the lowest amount that you can have with this scenario and with these particular constraints. Remember, those are your constraints or subject to. Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments?
So why, again,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't understand why we chose 36, because this was the lowest
It was the lowest, your minimum.
Yeah. minimum.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to
Yep.
look for the minimum? Like, did it say
That's
inside
yes,
the,
because it says minimize. We want the minimum daily requirement. So we want to minimize the intake. So in other words, you want the lowest value.
okay,
Okay. If it said we want the maximize, then you would get your highest number. Okay. All right. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to do, so we had, that was day 1. So day 2, this is day 2, we're doing all word problems, right? So what I wanted to do before we do that is I want to make sure that we can do so hopefully we're going to get into two My Math Lab questions. All right, so we're going to do the first one. So everybody open up your My Math Lab. Get mine open here. So go ahead and go into your 5.3. So I'll show you which one we're going to do. And they're going to be in different orders. Okay, I think there's only 5 questions on 5.3, so it won't take long to find it. But what I want you to do is I want everyone to do the exact same question. Now, they may have different values in it, and that's completely okay. But I want to make sure that everybody can do this one. So this one is, if you look at the top, it says question 2, 5.3.19. If your question 2 isn't that particular one, that's okay. Just go through and look for the one that says 5.3.19. So this is homework 9. So go ahead and open up your My Math Lab and find this question, 5.3.19. And then let me know if your numbers are the same. Like, do you have 4x plus 6y greater than or equal to 48? Okay, so Dylan, yours is not, but is it just the one minimize and then the one subject to one equation? And Sophia, you have different numbers too? Okay. And does it show 5.3.19 at the top where it says, what question number it is? Okay. And they're all different. Okay. All right. That's okay. I'm 100% fine with they're all being different. I just want you to do the same type of problem. Okay. And because you have unlimited access, every time you do it, the numbers are going to change. So that's totally okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this one up, and then I'm going to kind of give you guys some time to do this problem. Okay, remember, do it on paper. And if you notice, it doesn't say graph, but you still have to graph. You still have to walk through that process. Okay, so while you're doing yours, I'm gonna do this one, but I'm not gonna talk. So you do yours, I'm gonna do mine on the screen. And if you have questions, just unmute yourself and ask me your question. Okay, if you're not sure where to go with your particular one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop share for a minute. I'm going to have it open so that you can share your screen with me on the particular one that you're doing. Does that make sense? Everyone understand the assignment?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and get started on yours. I'm going to do mine, and then let me know if you have questions as you're going. You're doing one question on homework 9, Ava. Just the one that says 5.3.19 on your particular homework. So you'll have different numbers than what I'm showing, but just the one question. So I know I said I'm not going to talk. Everything that I'm doing, you should be doing on paper.
Miss, I had a question.
Sure.
What if I already did them already? Do I just put a similar question and do it again?
Then do another one. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Put in a similar question, but make sure you find the 5.3.19.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, yeah, so just do another one. And the more practice you get, the faster you're going to be with these. So it's never a waste of time to do it more than once. I didn't get it wrong. They just changed the numbers on me. So now let me do this one. Oops. I always forget they changed the numbers on you. It's just not right. Every time you click. So make sure you put your answer in and then check it to make sure it's right. And then as you're done, go ahead and put in the chat, just write done, so I know how many we're still waiting on. And then if you're done and you're done, way ahead of everyone else, do a similar one, do another one, or jump to one that has, and did you get it right? So those that are done, did you get it correct? Good, David. So now go to, and Ava, go to one that has 2 lines, right? 2 inequalities. Or do another one of this if you want more, more practice on them. And remember to ask if you have questions. So let me know when you get done. You can just put done and yes if you got it correct in the chat. And Bo, did you get it right? Very good. First time that you ever got it right, or first time like you got it right the first time? Good, Dylan. And Isabel, did you get it right?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, very good, Bo. So hopefully what you're seeing is it's can be a pretty smooth transition, right? The whole process is why are you doing what you're doing? And once you understand that and you understand the process, it makes it so much smoother. But it can't be smooth unless you do it over and over and over and over and over again. That's the only way you're going to get really, really comfortable with it. Okay, and again, as you can see, it doesn't tell you to graph, but the only way to get the right answer is to actually graph it. Okay, all right, good, Anissa. And Sophia, did you get it right? Oh, good, okay, I just saw it. Very good. Okay, so just a couple more people. Let me know when you get it done. Let's see how many we have. Okay, so we have 4 more waiting to hear from you. 3 more. Good job, Anwar. And while we're waiting, is there anything that trips you up? Good, Orlin. Is there anything at all that you just go, man, why do I keep making this mistake? Good, Mark. Okay, I think Mia, did you tell me you got it right yet? See your name on here. Not yet. Okay. Wait a couple more minutes. I think that's everybody. Okay, one more. Okay, yes. And Sophia, I did it on Tuesday. I read at least and wrote less than. It's always going to be the opposite. So I always have to think about, all right, if I want at least $100, that means I don't want $90, right? I want more than $100. If I have at most $50,000, right? That means I don't want 51,000. I want 50,000 at the most. So that's why I always have to go back and go, all right, kind of put it into perspective. At most means I want that number and less. At least means I want that number or more. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I got to get rid of the writing. You can see the way I did it. It's not a lot of calculations. The biggest part is the graph and shading, and then finding the corner points. So as soon as you find the corner points, then it's just a matter of plugging it into the objective function. And in this case, my objective function was 10x plus 7y. And then also make sure that you notice, what are you looking for? If it says minimize, you're looking for the lowest number. If it says maximize, you're looking for the highest number. If it says both, you have to get the lowest and the highest. So it just depends on what they're looking for. And then the way that you put your answers in is it says they want the minimum value. C is 70 in my case, and then these are the coordinates. So make sure your coordinates are in the right order, X first, Y second. And ordered pair means you have to put parentheses, right? I've had students where they just put in 0, 10 without the parentheses, and my math lab marks it wrong. So if it says ordered pair, you've got to put those parentheses in it. Okay, all right, so now what we're gonna do, get rid of all my drawings on here. We're gonna go back to some word problems. We're gonna do, do you want to take a break now, or you want to do one word problem and then take a break? What do you guys think? Any opinions out there? Word problem? Okay, all right, so here's one of the word problems, and then we're going to go back to our My Math Lab. So keep your My Math Lab open, because we're going to go back to it and do one of the word problems in your homework. So you know what? Lucky you, you guys are getting your homework done ahead of time. Hooray. It's kind of being forced on you, but that's okay. All right, so here we go. We have the area of a parking lot. Do I want to do that one? Belts. Plant A, plant B, and okay, we'll do the first one. So I hope I didn't make anybody sick. All right, so we have area of a parking lot, 600 square meters. That's all I have. That's a restriction, right? A car requires 6 square meters and a bus requires 30 square meters. The attendant can handle only 60 vehicles. If a car is charged $250 and a bus $750, how many of each should be accepted to maximize the income? So the first thing I'm going to do is create my table. The table just helps organize all your information. All right. So what I do is I go, okay, what is it that I'm looking for? I'm looking for how many of each type of vehicle, right? How many of each? So I have bus, and I have, oh, let me do it in the right order. I have car and then bus. So car is going to be my X, bus is going to be my Y. Okay, so that determines what goes across the top, is what are you looking for? What's included in it is the area and the number of vehicles. Okay, we know that a car requires 6 meters of area, and a bus requires 30 square meters of area. And the attendant can only handle 60 vehicles. 60 vehicles is my max, right? I have a maximum area of 600 square feet, and I have a maximum number of vehicles of 60. So what would go into the number of vehicles? Okay, so here's where you're going to have to kind of think a little bit logically, right? So I know that I only have 600 square meters, so it has to be less than or equal to. I know I only can handle 60 vehicles, so it's the number of cars and the number of buses. I don't know what that is, but I know that I have the number of cars and the number of buses. So my two equations are going to be 6x plus 30y is going to be less than or equal to 600. And x plus y is going to be less than or equal to 60. Okay, because we don't know what these are. So you could think of it as like one car and one bus, but the number of vehicles has to be less than or equal to 60. Okay, and then we are maximizing our income. And so our income, this is our Z function or profit. We could do it as profit. Our objective is we get $250 for a car and $750 for a bus. Okay, so there's your constraints. These are subject to and this is our objective. Okay. So any questions on how I pulled information out? I think the key to this is knowing what is it that I'm looking for, right? Am I looking for, how much a belt and a, I don't know, whatever. In this case, I'm looking for how many cars and how many buses am I having or do I need? And so that's what always goes across the top. And then what goes across the side over here is what is involved. So I have area and I have the number of vehicles. Those are the two things that are involved. Okay, so now you're off and running. You're going to find your intercepts for the orange. So when X is 0, Y is 20. And if you see a mistake in my calculations, make sure that you stop me. And then when Y is 0, 6 goes into 600 100 times. So X is 100. And then my test is 0 is less than or equal to 600, which is true. Okay, and then the blue one is easy. When X is 0, Y is 60. When X is 60, Y is 0. And then 0 is less than or equal to 60, which is also true. Okay, so now I have all my intercepts. I have 20 and 60 is my highest Y, and 100 is my highest X. So 20, 40, 60. Do tens. So 10, 20. I better change the color, huh? So it doesn't get mixed up with my point. So we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And then I can go by tens this way too. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So now it's going to be more even, right? Because I'm going by tens on both the X and the Y. All right, so plot my points. So my orange is 0, 20 and 100. And so my line, I'm going to pretend like this is a straight line. Goes like that. And I'm shading below. Okay. And again, stop me if I'm going too fast. And then my blue, I have 0, 60 and 60, 0. And again, my line goes like that. And I'm going to shade below. So you can see real clear where it's double shaded. It's double shaded all in here. Okay. So now I have a bounded region, which means I can have a maximum. Yes, I will, Sophia. Okay. So I have my intercepts, 60 and 60. I shaded below because I'm including that 0, 0. So in this little four-sided trapezoid region, that is my feasible region. And here's my restraints, first quadrant restraints. I don't want to forget those. Okay, so within the bounded region, I have corner points. And I go ahead and write the easy ones, right? I'm going to go ahead and write the easy ones first. So I have corner points. I have the orange y-intercept, which is 0, 20. I have the blue x-intercept, which is 60, 0. And then I have this corner point right here, where the two lines cross. So I have to do my elimination. So I have 6x plus 30y, 600. And I have x plus y, 6. Okay, everyone caught up? All right, so I'm going to multiply the bottom through by -6, which will allow me to get rid of my x. So I end up with -6x minus 6y equals a -360. Okay, and then I still have my orange one. I'll go ahead and rewrite it. I don't have to, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to calculate when they're, one right after the other. All right, so my x's go away. 30 minus 6 is 24y. 600 minus 360 is 240. Well, that's convenient. Divide by 24, so I get my y equals 10. Okay, so look for something to plug it into that makes it easy. So if I have x plus 10 equals 60, my x equals 50. So my third corner point is at 50 and 10. And it looks good, right? There's my 50 right here. And here's 10 here. So we're looking really good. Okay. And then our objective is we're looking to make money. The car costs $250, the bus costs $750, and we are looking for the maximum. So we have 250 times 0 plus 750 times 20. So that's 150. Get this out of the way. And then the next one, I go 250 times 60 and 750 times 0. So that's also 150. And then 250 times 50 plus 750 times 10. So this number right here is 125. So this is where I want to caution you on using your calculator. I have a lot of students that just want to push it into the calculator just straight, right? Just 250 or 250 times 50 plus 750 times 10. The problem with doing it that way is it depends on how you enter it and what brand of calculator it is. And so sometimes what happens is if you put the whole thing in, the calculator will read it as 2.5 times 50 plus 7.5. And then that answer times 10. So it just depends on how you are entering into your calculator and the brand of the calculator. Phone calculators are notorious for doing it that way, which is not correct order of operations. So anytime you have multiplication with a plus sign in the middle, multiply the first set, get your answer. Jump over, multiply the second set, get your answer, and then put it together. Okay, so always keep in mind order of operations because your calculator will only do what you tell it to do. If you just throw the whole thing in there, it may or may not. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's just very inconsistent. Okay. All right. So this is where you're going to earn extra credit on this subtest, right? Actually, I could tell you which ones are extra credit on the My Math Lab test. Anyway, so the way you're going to get extra credit is you're going to interpret your answer, right? So remember, what we're looking for is how many of each should be accepted to maximize income? So the maximum income, type this easier. So the maximum income is $200 when I park, or the attendant parks 50 cars and 10 buses. All right, so I'm giving the maximum value is $200. And then where that maximum happens is when I have 50 cars and 10 buses. Okay, so this is how you're going to earn some extra credit on the upcoming paper test, is you're going to interpret your answer. Okay, so, and I'll remind you, make sure that you interpret your answer for extra credit. Okay. Comments, questions? That's the paper test, yes. When you take your My Math Lab test, there's going to be 1 or 2 of these graphing questions on the My Math Lab, and I'll tell you which ones you can earn extra credit on. Sorry, it's a big one. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and take a break, come back at 1/4 at 12:15. And then we're going to go into breakout rooms and do a couple more word problems. And then we'll be done for the day. All right, see you back at 12:15. And Sophia, it will open Sunday morning at 6 a.m. That assignment opens. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put you in a breakout room. So Franco, I'm not assigning you, so you can go into any room you want. Each room is going to do one of the word problems that's on OneNote. So make sure that you have OneNote. Somebody in the room have OneNote in it. And then I'm going to assign you which number you're going to do. And then you're going to work with that person, get the question done. One person can write on it, I think. You might not be able to write on it. And then, no, actually you will be able to. And then we'll come back and we'll kind of just walk through each one. And then we're going to do one more question on your, the word problem on your assignment 9. And then we'll be done. Okay, so let's see. I have 4 questions left. Maybe we'll just do 2. I think we're just going to do 2. So I have, let's see, hang on. I need to recreate these because I had too many people. All right. Okay. You're gonna be in that room. And then Dylan, Bell, and Tiba. Okay, so what you're gonna do is if you are in room 1, you're gonna do number, let me see, which one do I want you to do? You're gonna do number 3. So if you're in room 1, you're gonna do number 3 on the OneNote. Let me show you which one you do. Let's see. And then, so room, sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Hang on a minute. Okay, so if you're in room 1, you are going to do number 3, the toys a go. Okay, that's your problem. If you are in room 2, you are going to do number 5. So room 1 is doing number 3 and room 2 is doing number 5. So one person in the room needs to share their screen so that everyone can see it. And then just go ahead as a group. You can talk to each other, do it on paper, right? You're gonna actually draw out each one, make and check as you go. Like as soon as you get in your room, I want you to create your table. As soon as your table is done, then what you're going to do is you're going to check with everybody. Okay. I got you, T-Bud. You're going to check with everyone, make sure your table is correct, make sure everybody's information is right. And then you're going to create your inequalities, make sure everybody's right. So don't just go through the whole thing and pray to God you get the right answer. Just check as you go. Okay, check in as you go. And then we'll come back, we'll talk about the 2 questions, and then we'll walk through the one in the homework. All right, so here we go. 2 rooms. Room 1 is going to do number 3, and room 2 is going to do number, sorry, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Room 2 is going to do number 5. Okay. And then Franco, I figure we'll let them kind of have a few minutes to work it out, and then we'll jump in and see how they're
Okay.
doing.
That sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So do you have it in front of you, or do you need me to keep it up here?
I have to pull it up. I just got back. I was eating.
Oh, okay. That's kind of important. Okay, so Ava, you're gonna go into, I'm gonna put you in room 2. So your group is gonna do number 5 on OneNote. So it looks like this one. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in room 2.
Which one is the one that I'm joining?
So this is much different than if you want to go in room 1, you'll do number 3,
Okay. And this is
the toy one.
homework. We on homework 9,
Mm-hmm.
5.3. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the one, have them, they need to set up a table. So for this one, you're looking at how many hours per toy. So plant A has a minimum of 1,000 trucks and fire trucks, and plant B has 800 dump trucks and fire trucks. So what's going to go across the top is dump trucks, fire trucks, and what goes down the side is plant A, plant B.
Oh, for that graph.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I switched it. Yeah, for the graph, it's plant A and B is across the top, and then dump trucks and fire engines goes down the side. Because the reason why I figured that is because when you look at here, plant A makes 10 and 5. So that's where your, the dump truck, fire truck, and then A here and B here. So 10 and 5. And then plant B does 5 and 15. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so when you go in, make sure they have the table set up. And then as soon as they get their table set up, the rest of it is just what they've been doing. But pulling that information out it can be challenging because there's a lot of numbers and words and stuff. So, and then the profit function would be 30
30 dump trucks plus 35.
hang on. Let me double check. 30 an hour for a dump truck. See, I do have it switched. It should be, I had it right the first time. So this is dump, fire, and A, B. Because A has 1,000, oh, I'm sorry, plant, where am I? Plant B, plant A has 10. Oh, yeah,
10 dump
10
trucks.
and 5, yeah, and then 5 and 15. So it's X plus 35Y, and this is your X, this is your Y.
Okay.
So that's what gets confusing is you don't know, what are we looking for? So we're looking for how many dump trucks and how many fire trucks we need.
Yeah, to minimize the cost, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we want the smallest number, yeah. Okay,
Alrighty.
so that's yours. Now let me go look at mine. Okay, so we have, oops. I have traveler and the tourister. And then we have assembly and painting. Travelers 1 and 3, no, 3 and
Oh, that's the painting time, right? 1 and 3.
oh, that's the painting, yeah. And then, oh, and then there's 300 frames. So that means the frames is the assembly part, right? I must look at
But
these
I
in
guess
so
both
long.
the assembly, it says the assembly and painting time is only 1 hour for the traveler.
For the traveler.
And then, yeah, so you got it right. It's
And
1,
3
3, 1,
hours for the
3.
tourister, yeah. So then here this is your X and your Y. So it's 1 and 1 because there's a total of 300 frames. So it says that each bicycle has the same frame and tires, right? So this, oh, come on, this should be here. Assembly and painting is on the same line, and then frame is here. So it's 1 and 1 has to be less than or equal to 300. And then 360 for production.
Max.
Yeah.
Oh, 300 because there's only 300 frames.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's the X and the Y. So however many travelers plus however many touristers has to be
Why is it less
less than
than or equal
300.
to though?
Because that's the most I have. I only have 300. So I can't go above 300.
Oh, okay.
And I only have 360 labor hours for the production. So this could be I could write production and frames because the assembly and painting is the same thing.
Okay.
And then the profit is 300 for X and 600 for Y.
Alrighty.
Okay. All right. So let's see how they're doing. I gave a test in my 1325 yesterday. It was terrible. And that's
Terrible.
my face-to-face class.
Yeah.
56% passed. It was
How much?
horrible.
Wait, how many passed?
56%.
Well, that's at least half.
Yeah, you're
Could be
you're
worse.
very